Hi everyone, Dave here for Peace Camera. In this week's video, we're going to go over what to look for when buying used gear. We buy and sell a lot of used gear here at the store, and I wanted to pass along some of the things that we look for personally when we're expecting cameras and lenses to purchase, so you could be aware as well. So let's start off with cameras. Right here, example, I have a Nikon D810, and one of the first things we do, especially on Nikon cameras, is take a shutter count. Nikon is the only camera that we know that writes it into the EXIF of the data, so you can just take a JPEG. It can't be a RAW, it has to be a JPEG. And you can open up the EXIF data on your computer and it'll tell you the shot count. This one only has 13,150 shots on it. Most of these cameras are rated for 200,000 or more shots on the shutter, especially one of the more pro bodies like this D810. So this is very low use as far as the camera goes. And me personally, very rarely do you ever see at the store any camera come anywhere close to the shutter life of its use. Very rarely do we see it. Even a lot of the big pros, maybe will have at most 100,000 shots on it. We have seen a couple that have been over 200,000 or 300,000 shots on a camera, but it's very rare. So knowing most used cameras you buy are not going to have anywhere near the shutter life on a camera. Next, we're going to check all the buttons, make sure that they work. So we press every single function button, every menu button, every dial, every mode button, just to make sure everything is doing what it's supposed to do. If the camera has a pop-up flash, we will pop it up and make sure that works. All the switches we're going to check, and overall look at condition. We're going to look at all the ports, make sure they seem to be in working order, no bent pins. And speaking of bent pins, if the camera's an older camera that takes CF cards, like this one has a CF NSD, we want to look down into that slot, make sure you don't see any bent pins, because that could affect the camera and be able to record pictures. So that's one of the things we check as well. Next, let's move on to lenses. Now, lenses are going to be a little bit easier to check. If it's a zoom lens, we want to go through the full zoom range. Make sure that it's nice and smooth and there's no hang-ups on it. We also want to do the same with the focus range. The focus ring, we want to go through, make sure that whole range is nice and smooth. And then if there's any switches on the camera, we're going to check those out to make sure they are operational as well. We're also going to put it on the camera, test the autofocus, make sure everything is autofocusing correctly. We can move the focus points around, make sure that is all working. Then we'll put it into manual focus. Also check to make sure that if we move that focus ring, everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing. We're also looking overall general condition of the camera. We're looking at the back of the mount. We're going to look at the mounting pins or contacts, make sure they are all clean. Nothing seems broken or damaged or out of place. And then we're also taking a good look at the optics. We want to make sure that the optics are nice and clean. One thing you could do is you can either hold a flashlight underneath it, or what we like to do too is we will make sure it's wide open, and then we'll look up at the light like I'm doing now and make sure you don't see any fungus or dirt. Sometimes you will get a little bit of dust in there. These lenses are not airtight, but it's not going to be able to focus on anything that close anyway, so that's not going to be a problem. The main thing you're looking for is clean optics. Like I said, especially on the older film lenses, if you're buying some of them, if they're not stored correctly, they can get mold and fungus in them. So that's the main thing we are looking out for. Now, if you have an older lens with a manual aperture ring like I have here, again, you're going to want to go through and make sure that ring moves nice and freely and that the aperture blades are closing down. And also look at the aperture blades too to make sure you don't see any oil on them, as that could be a sign of a lens starting to go bad. This one is nice and clean and moving beautifully. So those are some of the main things that we go over when we're looking at used cameras and lenses for a purchase. Now, if you buy anything from us, almost every single camera and lens, we are going to offer a 90-day warranty. If there's something that we miss or something should happen with your gear right after you purchase it, we will warranty that and send it off to the manufacturer to get fixed for you, unless it's a really, really old camera or lens that there is no fixing for, so those will be sold as is, but we usually let people know that. but majority of our gear does have a 90-day warranty on it, so you know you have a little peace of mind that if we miss something by chance in checking it out, that we will get it covered for you. I personally think buying used gear is a great way to go. I personally have bought 95% of my gear that I purchased over the years used. It saves you a lot of money from buying new. Okay, I mean, nothing wrong with buying new, but if you're on a budget like me, buying used is a great way to go, and especially from a store like here. So I hope this video was helpful to you, so you know what to look for when you're buying used gear, and hopefully you'll be buying from us. If you'd like to see any of our used gear, come on down and see us. We're at 5039 Falls of Neuse Road in the Quail Corner Shopping Center, corner of Falls of Neuse and Millbrook, or give us a call here at the store, 919-836-2222. So if you like this video, please do hit the like button. It really does mean a lot to us. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as I put out new videos every single Friday. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on used gear. And that's going to do it for this week's video, and I'll see you all next week.